Back for second half action here on Buckeye Football Weekly. And, Coach, you've got a 14-10 game. I mean, you're in a game here with Troy you knew you'd be in.
Well, we knew it was going to be a battle, and we talked a lot about that at halftime in the locker room, that Troy, this is what they do. They go to big stadiums and try to get after it, and they're getting after it.
Well, 5 penalties in the first half, and then you cut it off in the second half. Can that be a halftime adjustment?
Well, we try to cut them off all the time, but it was sure a thrill to see that 1968 team and the 1973 team here, and we heard from Jim Stillwagon pregame, and now we're back at it, and, they came a little bit more with their run game to begin, that first drive of the second half, and our guys had just to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, and came up with the pick. Good play by Kirk Coleman, pick number 2 for him, and
because bell rung by his own guy.
Yeah, right. And, we're trying to get that thing out of there. And, the key is if you can change field position in a tight game. And we started with the ball on our own 6. And how about this punt by A.J. Trapasso? It ends up down on their 6. And so whenever there's a field position swing of that magnitude, that is huge in a tight, tough ball game.
Well, and get things going downhill, certainly in a hurry, and that's exactly what happened here because the defense smells that. They've been, they're tired and they're running around a lot because the nature of this offense that Troy runs plays just like this, the bubble screen. They want you to get impatient at some point.
There's no question. They want you to miss a tackle, and they've got the kind of guys that can make you miss, and our defense just keeps playing hard, and you got to tackle well. You got to keep the ball in front of you, and you have to swarm, and that's what our guys did the whole second half.
Get a handful of whatever you can, shirt, whatever it takes to get it down and get the ball back in the offense's hand, and running between tackles is strength.
Yeah, good patience there by Boom on the draw. We ended up moving it a little bit, but again, we had a good punt. It didn't look so hot, but we got a good roll, and all of a sudden we're down there on the 2-yard line or whatever it happens to be, and that turns games around when you could make them start from there.
Well, you turned around ends there because that's the end of the third quarter, and you go to the fourth here and backed up, and this is right what the defense likes to see, licking their chops.
Well, no doubt about it. We had a bunch of guys in the box, yet they were playing the safe way and running it to start with, and then, Jermail Hines. He almost got himself a touchdown, and we got great field position to start, and it was second down, and Terrell had wonderful protection and threw the post route to Brian Robisky and come up with the touchdown, and that was huge.
And that's big. 38-yard play right there on a 2nd and 11 throw, 21-10. So it's no longer a 4-point game. You get a little bit of breathing room here.
Well, we can put a little pressure. Dexter Larimore and Thaddeus Gibson, and those guys are getting after it, and they tried a little shovel pass, and our guys sniffed it out well, and you feel the momentum. We get the ball back again. Good field position. We start with a little quarterback draw, and the thing about Terrell is he can move the ball down the field pretty fast, and we get 7 or 8 yards, and we're moving it down. Then we run a little bit of power and good patience by Boom Herron. At the outset, it didn't look like there was much there, but now we're rolling.
11 yards there, and again, AJ's going to pin this one deep. I think this one's down at the 4-yard line.
Good job there on the job by our sniper, Sean Lane, coming up with that, and now we've got them back in their own shadow of their goalposts, and pressure's there, and he's got to throw it away, and we get the football back.
Yeah, that's the 3rd and 4, just incomplete, thrown out of bounds. Brandon Smith, fullback catching passes, tight ends catching passes. They're going to love Terrell.
Well, the one thing that Terrell does, he keeps the play alive. And when you keep the play alive, here he makes his first read and throws the seam route and put it up there where Brian Harline could catch it. And the one thing Terrell wanted to do was have a chance to pass the ball a little bit this game. Everyone knows that he can run it. And he said, Coach, I want to see if I can pass it a little bit. And I think he had some good opportunities.
Yeah, certainly keeping plays alive, extending those plays with his feet. We saw flashes of that.
That's huge, and you know yourself playing DB, that you can only cover for so long. And the longer that ball is alive, you don't know which way the receivers are going. And when you have a strong arm like his, he can find some things down the field. He's got great vision, keeps his head up, and I know he'll be willing to learn from all the little mistakes he may have made, as we study the film next week.
Well, even when the play is breaking down seemingly around him, to keep your head up and look downfield and find those guys, and throwing it downfield. I mean, you say you want to see him throw it. He wanted to see himself throw it. First time downfield.
Right. He's a poised guy, and he's a confident guy, and he'll do nothing but get better.
Well, these guys getting better, the name of the day, I guess you could say, after sitting on it for a week. You do take that half step forward.
You know, that's the exact phrase we used in the locker room afterwards, is that, you know, it was a half step. It was a tough game. There were moments where, you know, there was a little bit of pressure going the other direction, a little bit of momentum going the other direction, and our guys stood tall and they were tired and you know, maybe even a little hungover, if you will, from a tough loss and a long road trip and all that. But they just kept fighting, and it was a good half step, and now we have to take a full step as we go to the Big Ten.
Well, Trojan hangover, a little hair of the dog. We got the Trojans this time of Troy University. Plenty more to talk about on this week's edition of Buckeye Football Weekly. Stay with us.